I didn't finish with passion and purpose because you know what? Without that, and we discover our own individuality, many opportunities present themselves while I was increasing my nail art technique. Also, if you stay focused on the things you want to create, it can happen. For instance, I did an interview. Now you're going to wonder how I got interviews, okay? Well, the whole thing was I got an interview because, see that book on the stage over there? I had originally wanted to write an art book. And life takes different turns. While I was on the computer, I found a company, 3 of them as a matter of fact. And I said, all right, I looked at art books, they all look like they're for kids. My artwork isn't for kids. I have to find out what I'm going to do. So, I sent an email to Tate Publishing out in Oklahoma. And I said, this is what I've done. Now, I'm going to tell you what I wrote only because we're going to mix this up a little to tell you how far I've gone from my acting, my singing, my own carousel players. Well, when I learned that I could paint and I could do my nails, I decided to go into business in doing nails professionally. They didn't have schools at the time. And if you didn't go to school today, you cannot become a nail technician or a nail doctor, which everybody calls me. I did not call me that, guys. So don't think I put my own little sign out there, nail doctor. Everybody else has done that. I didn't do that. And I'm telling you this before I get to this other thing that I was going to mention. So I sent them an email and I said, okay, this is my credentials. I'm a 13-time nail art winner. I'm a first place world international nail art champ and a first place international nail art champ. Difference being, one is here in New York and one is out in California. The one in California is international. That means everybody in creation during the nail industry comes over and they all compete. And how that happened, when I was telling them about the story, I went to a show in New York called the International Beauty Show. And I was so gung-ho, you don't know. And I saw that you could compete in nail art. And what happened was, I said, why can't I do that? I think I could learn how to do that, so I did it. All right, guys, I know we're going back a couple of years ago, but it turns out I entered. Now, ladies, you're going to agree with me. Men, only if you turn your head around will you do it. But when you lose, you cry. Yes, no, maybe? Come on, I want to hear it. Ladies, do you cry if you lose at something you want?
Sometimes, yeah, maybe.
Right? Well, I cried. I lost the first time. I lost the second time. I lost the third time. But I am determined, and I believe that I have the passion to win. So the third time that I lost, I walked over to a judge, and I said to her, what do I do to win? And she said to me, keep doing what you're doing. Right, Denise?
Yep.
Just keep doing it. And eventually, you will find judges that like flowers. Because that's what I paint. I could paint anything on a small nail. And mine are large, but I could paint on nails as small as Denise's, as small as you guys have if you have short nails. I could paint anything you want on it. And I said, well, if that's what I have to do, I'll go do it. So I went back to work and I painted on everybody's nails that you can think of. So just because you lose doesn't mean you can't win. So I entered every competition every year until I finally won. I competed for 4 years straight. I competed in New York, I traveled to California twice a year. And then I was winning every year thereafter that. And when I got back to New York, I took second place, and then I knew the people I was competing against, and I saw the winner. And I looked at her straight in the face and I said, "I'm taking your trophy this year." And she just looked at me. And I said, "It's mine. I'm walking away at first place." Well, I walked away at first place here in New York. So I was first place in the world at the IBS show. So now I said, okay, now we have to go to California. And no matter what, if you want something, you have to feel it, taste it, believe it, see it, envision it. And I had to learn how to do that. And I wasn't trained how to do it. There were no books out there on how to do it. I'm talking back in the late 80s, early 90s, actually late 80s. I finished competing in 1989, and it turns out it was time to go back to California. And when I went back to California, I knew the girl I was competing against, and guys, she is fantastic. She has won almost every competition. And the year before that, I saw her. And as we walked by each other, I looked at her and I said to her, "That's mine." Now it's a 4.5-foot trophy. It's this high. That's how high the trophies are when you win first place. And I said to her the same thing I said in New York, "It's mine next year." And she looked at me, knowing me, and she goes, "Tina, come and get it." And I said, "Yes, I will." So my determination, my stick-to-itiveness, or whatever you want to call it, my beliefs in myself, I went into that competition. I competed with 200 other nail technicians. The judges were from England, Japan, the United States, and I can't remember the other country the other judge was. You're judged by 4. And I had on a white suit, and before I compete at every single competition, I sit down with my paints, my brushes, and everything else, and I put my paints on a palette, and all of a sudden, from the air conditioning, everything dries. And I sit there and I go, I can't do this. And my model knows, because it's either my worker or my client. In the shop, you can't tell me what to do. But at a competition, you can. And the person I was with looked at me and said, "Sit your," excuse my expression, "ass down, and we're going to finish this competition." And I looked at her, and I said, "Okay." And I had a white suit on, crocheted white suit. And when I shook the paint and opened it, it got on my lapel. And I was like devastated, because it was a very expensive, beautiful suit. But I had to just dismiss it from the top of my head. I painted, guys, for 4 hours straight. Now, I know most of you, I think all of you maybe, don't know that there's art competition for nails. Am I right? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
All right, there is, and there still is, but then it was brand new. 4 hours to paint. I painted a cockatoo on a thumb, sitting on a branch of flowers. I painted a unicorn on the other thumb, sitting in a bed of flowers. And all the rest, because I love flowers, anything to do with flowers, nature. And the other nails had miniature flowers on it, guys. I mean, they saw it, but you have to have good eyesight to do the way I paint. And I did it. And when I finished, I used every second of the 4 hours that was given me. And I sat there, and everybody went up, and then finally my model went up. And as I'm feeling right now, because I'm reliving the whole thing. You have to wait to be judged through this. And I was a wreck. I went to my room, I washed my jacket off and everything. And when they came time to announce it, now here's the kicker, guys. On my arm, you wear on your hand the number that you are. Okay? My number was 1. So now, I was the first one to sign up, so I got number 1. Now it comes time for everything to go down, and they start calling the numbers. And I'm waiting on the side, and they keep calling the numbers. And then all of a sudden, they call one, and my name. And I'm like hysterical. And I go on stage, and you're given a crown with your trophy. And my model came up with me, and I was like in heaven. I finally reached my goal. I finally did what it was I was supposed to do. I finally walked away with the prize. I had 12 more before it, but this one was the most important. World International. My God, do you know what that's like? To say that in my industry, have it in every single magazine. They didn't have internet then. You weren't in a newspaper. Yes, I was in the Wall Street Journal when I won in Manhattan, but it wasn't the same. This was one of the biggest competitions going. Afterwards, I met with the judges. They came to see me. And the Japanese judge, now, I don't know if you know this, the Japanese paint very, very small and very intricate. He walked over to me and said, I have to tell you, I have never experienced or seen what I just saw. I wanted that bird to fly off that nail. He was going to fly. And I just looked at him, I said, really? He goes, my God, I've never seen anything that beautiful. Another judge who was from England came over, and in one of the fingers I had a flower which had, if you know flowers, they come in layers. So this flower was in layers, and she said to me, you know how you say, he loves me not, he loves me not. She said we could pick. I wanted to pick the petals off the nail and say that. She said, you have such talent. Don't ever let yourself lose it. And I looked at her and I said, thank you. Well, that day, kidding around, I went up to my room and I went to sleep with my trophy in my bed. And I have a picture of it in my book, which is over there. There's a picture of me holding my trophy. I was hysterical. Well, anyway, that's what this is about, life's lessons. I never gave up. I kept going, no matter how I was pushed down, no matter how everybody said someone is better than me, no matter what it is that I had to go through. I paid for my model to come with me. It was worth every penny. And I've done it 4 times a year for 4 years. Now, when I decided to write a book, it was supposed to be an art book. And that was something that I've always believed in. I want to write an art book. I want to teach what it is I do. Well, guys, the publisher decided, no art book. We want your life story. I said, oh boy, all right, how do I do this? Well, send us your manuscript. I didn't have one. I didn't have a thing. I am a very, very lucky woman that I have fantastic friends and fantastic clients that have been friends with me for years. And I just made a phone call and she helped me put something together, and we did. And out came Polished, Filing Away at Life's Truths, because they didn't like anything else I wrote, so they made that title. And that's my autobiography. And everything about my life that I'm telling you, if not more, is in that book. But because of that book, and the fact of me wanting what I want, believing in what I want, honing my own individuality, having my own inspiration, my spirituality. I was interviewed on many radio shows. I've done many video shows. I've done several videos, one of them known as Fairy Tale Access, and it's out of New Hampshire. And this is something that I could not believe. My show on Fairy Tale Access reached 4 million households across the world. And I almost died when I heard that. I said, I can't believe that I've done this. This is what I've done. And you would say, well, you've done everything. You've finished. The answer is, no, I didn't. I haven't finished it all. I have so much more I want to do besides writing my book. I still want to do an art book. I still want to teach my artwork. So what has happened now, which is the next step in believing in myself, in believing of what I want and staying with my own individuality and not losing it. I can't say I haven't fallen. I can't say I haven't cried and gone to bed and say it's not going to work. I can't say that I give up. I literally take a day and say, what the hell am I doing? Where is this going? How do I do it? I don't know how I do it. And you want to know something? I don't care how I do it, as long as I do it. I've read a lot. I now can manifest. You're going to laugh. I literally manifest what I want now. I believe it, I think it, and I feel it here. If you feel it here, you're going to have it. What has happened through all of this, a company out of India has reached out to me. And it reached out to me about a year ago. And they did a live Skype video of me. And I've been adding to it. Every so often they ask me to do a video and send it to them, and I do. Well, what's happened now, which is what I've wanted to do as long as I've been in my business, which is 33 years, and I'm doing nails 37 years, I'm putting an art class together, and I'm teaching it. And the company in India is known as Scratch. They are backing me. Sent somebody to see me, to sit down and talk to me in my salon and say, Tina, let's put an art class together. What does it take? And for 2.5 hours, that's what we did. And I'm going to tell you, you do doubt yourself. You don't believe it's going to happen. People talk, people say they're going to do it. That doesn't mean they're going to do it. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. The only time I don't do it is if I'm sick or I just can't. But I'll always find a way to do it. She told me this, I can't remember the month, I think it was April. She goes, oh, we'll put something together at the end of June. I never posted it at all. I waited, and I waited. Well, guys, I got a phone call from California. That's where she is. She represents Scratch. And she said, we're doing it in September. Pick a date. And I said, what? And she goes, pick a date in September. And I said, okay, how about September, it was supposed to be the 17th, but I couldn't make it because I've got grandchildren and I have to babysit. So I said, can we change it please to the 24th? She goes, well, it's not written in stone yet. We could change it. So, on September 24th, at the Inn in Hyde Park, in Jericho Turnpike, Long Island, I will be teaching an art class, my art technique, to 20 people that want to learn or more. And that is where I've gone from nothing to do with nails at all, from acting and all the things that I've touched my hands on. And now, I'm working with a beautiful woman that I've known for 20 years. And I know Steve just as long, only Steve, I'm sorry, but I know her a little better than you, please forgive me.
I'm not beautiful, I know, I get it.
No, you're beautiful in your own way. And we're here together. I never expected this to happen. I heard them for the first time 20 years ago. And we're here together in the same room. And I'm going to predict something because I believe it. I believe in Steve, and I believe in Denise, and I believe in myself. And I think, knowing that if you believe and you know where you're going to go and you feel you're going to get there, we may be seeing each other more than just tonight. And I want to say, I thank you so very much. I don't know how long I'm talking. I have no idea. But being here has been such an honor. Steve, I love you. Katie, who's outside, who I've called Kathy. I change her name constantly. But Katie, thank you very much for having me again. And I hope I can come back. And I love it here. And you are so wonderful. Thank you so very much. And if you want to know even more about me, you can purchase my book if you like, and I will autograph it. And I'm just very happy that I could share with you on how I have learned life's lessons throughout my life, which has been a little difficult. Thank you very much. And here